Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Ask Princess. Today's topic is fast food industry versus American society. I was going to originally do something on massage, seeing that I have yet to do a podcast on massage and body work and all that other good stuff. But this kind of caught my eye, so I figured I would speak on this topic. But don't fret, I will get a massage podcast out soon. So on the fast food industry versus American society. The topic kind of came up recently because I saw a post. I'm not sure if it was just an actual article or if it was a video, but McDonald's, one of my friends on Facebook had posted this about McDonald's had pledged to stop putting what they're referring to as pink slime in their food. So you're saying pink slime, what is pink slime? Well, don't know if you guys remember or had even seen, probably within the last year or two, especially when they came out with like Super Size Me and like Food Inc., they really started getting into what is in our food. And it was discovered that chicken nuggets, for example, was made with this pink slime stuff. So they would actually take real chicken, process it, grind it up, add this pink goo, reshape it, fry it up again, and now you have chicken nuggets. The reason they were using this goo was because it was supposed to be like a preservative of some sort. But yet this goo was also found to be like in stuff that you use to put down your carpets. Not necessarily the adhesive, but it was, something that's used to make like carpets or something like that. Not really sure, but it's something that you use for like household wares. And so people were saying, oh my God, you're putting this in food, you're giving this to people, this is supposed to be safe to eat. Remember, anything that's in our food, the FDA has to deem it safe. So basically the FDA said, yes, it's okay for you to eat this pink goo that we also use in a different form on carpets or in adhesives or in whatever. Through a lot of research, you will find that food, especially in the fast food industry, is not the way it used to be. Reason being, the fast food industry now is trying to keep up with supply and demand. 50 years ago, when fast food joints really started coming up, when you had like the very first McDonald's, first Wendy's, first Burger King, that was a luxury. People were not frequenting these places like they do today. Like, yes, somebody might say, hey, let's go out for a burger and fries. That's like a first date type place, or that was where the family would go on the weekends. But the way that the fast food industry sells and produce now, it was nothing like that in like the 50s and the 60s when they first started sprouting up. So in the 50s and the 60s, when you asked for a hamburger, that's exactly what you got. You got beef, and it was pretty much 100% beef. The beef may have had a little bit of preservative just to keep it fresh a little bit longer, but other than that, it was pretty much 100% beef. French fries, 100% potato, a little bit of salt, and you were good to go. Chicken was just that, chicken. So, and then if you went to like say KFC to get like actual buckets of chicken, those birds didn't have antibiotics fed to them or steroids fed to them. They were just straight up, grown chickens that was on somebody's farm, and they sold them, to the restaurants to be used in food. Very basic, very simple. Nowadays, to keep up with supply and demand, that is not the case anymore. Nowadays, food is loaded with different types of preservatives. They're loaded with different types of steroids and antibiotics. Antibiotics is pretty much given to kind of keep the animal healthy. The steroids are given to help them grow faster to keep up with the supply and demand. Because if you let a chicken go through its normal life expectancy before it's ready to be used for food, you'll be waiting a while. Same thing with cows, pigs, whatever it is, type of meat that you're looking for. Even with fruits and vegetables nowadays, they're starting to give them like steroids, and they're starting to genetically modify them so that they grow faster, and they grow a certain way. So now, to keep up with supply and demand, this has been put in place. So going back to this pink goo, we have this pink goo that, for example, they would use it in chicken nuggets. They would grind up the chicken, add the pink goo, refry the chicken nugget, and boom, there you go. The pink goo was used as a preservative of sorts, but that same pink goo is used in like adhesives that they use for carpets. In some restaurants, you will find traces of formaldehyde. I know if you look up pretty much any fast food restaurant and look up what the ingredients are in French fries, it's more than just potatoes. They have anti-foaming agents. Like, really? Why would a potato need an anti-foaming agent? I've never seen a potato foam before, but, that's just me. So these are the things that are in food. Now, how does that compare to the American society? Well, for one, the American society, for the most part, is not aware of this. So they frequent these fast food restaurants like they are going out of style. Also, the American society, they are unaware, but at the same time, we live in a fast-paced society, so it really doesn't matter. It's all about what can I get now, what can I get cheap. So if you are running a hectic, busy schedule, it's nothing to hit a drive-through, get something to eat for dinner, and keep it moving. Minimal time with preparation for it. You can eat it in the car, and it didn't cost a whole lot of money. But one thing I have noticed with society likes to blame things or blame people or blame anyone but themselves when it comes to social issues. So within the last 20 years, really with the popularity of fast food and with the invention of video games, obesity has really increased. So now we're in an actual epidemic of obesity. We actually have reached a point in our health that they do not believe that the generation of children now, so pretty much like 18 and younger, will live longer than their parents. They actually believe, based on health reasons, parents of small children now will outlive their children. So where does that fit in again with society? Society likes to blame instead of taking responsibility. Example being, before it was fast food industry being blamed, it was the video game industry being blamed. By about 20 years ago is really when video games took off. I mean, of course, they had Atari like in the late 70s, early 80s, but around the late 80s, early 90s is really when video games took off and they really excelled. So you had things like Nintendo, you had things like Sega. Later on, you would run into things like PlayStation, Xbox. And then now, of course, you have things like Wii and Wii Connect and all that good stuff. But 20 years ago, the video games you had were not interactive as far as being a physical activity. You had your little controller, you sat down and you played. So that kind of presented a stagnant type environment because you didn't do anything, you didn't move around. And some kids would actually sit in front of the video game for hours on end doing nothing but sitting and maybe eating. Now I can understand frustration as far as, okay, my kid's playing this video game, now my kid's fat. But as a society, how can you blame video games? What have you done, what had you done as a parent to prevent your child from being obese? When your child was sitting in front of that video game for 5 or 6 hours at a time, did you make them go outside? Did you make them have physical activity? Or did you just let them sit there? So it's, who purchased this video game? Who kept buying new games for the game system? Who kept buying new controllers for the game system? So really it's kind of hard to blame the video game companies when you are contributing to the factors of what's going on. But as a society, we don't like to take responsibility and say, maybe I should have sent my kid outside more. No, we blame the video game industry. So what does the video game industry do? How do they respond? They respond by creating things like Wii Fit. You have your Kinect. You have more interactive games like Let's Dance and, what Michael Jackson has a game, and American Idol has a game where you stand in front of and sing, and, and of course if you're going to sing and do karaoke type stuff, you're going to perform a little bit so you get some activity. So you have all of these different games. I even think Hannah Montana had a game that was really interactive as far as like dancing and stuff as well. So they responded by still having video games, but they made them more interactive. So you, as a society, feels more comfortable with purchasing it. Oh, well, I got my kid the new Wii Fit. We're going to bowl and we're going to run and we're going to do this. Yet they're still playing video games. Now that we can't, blame video games anymore, we have moved on to the fast food industry, which, in general, they have responsibility, which I'll get to in a second. But when it comes to the fast food industry, people irritate me with blaming them for childhood obesity. They kill me with blaming them for obesity in general, because it is a choice. You do not have to go to a fast food restaurant. When you go to a fast food restaurant, you do not have to get the biggest burger there. You can get a salad. You can get a smaller burger if you choose to get a burger. You don't have to get the super size or the extra large drink. But we as a society choose to do that. And then when we have heart disease, high cholesterol, we want to sue the fast food industry. Well, why? They didn't make you go. Did you not notice when you were eating the 20 hamburgers that you were putting on weight? Did you not know when you were eating the 20 hamburgers that you started to have chest pains? Did you not know after eating the 20 hamburgers that when you went to the doctor, your cholesterol and your blood pressure was high? So we do a lot of stuff to ourselves, and then we can't take responsibility. We blame it on other people. I think a couple of months ago, some guy went to, like the Heart Attack Grill or someplace like that with like a crazy name like that. And he ate like a triple bypass burger and he died. Now, not to speak ill of the dead, and no, I don't know this man, but I believe he was also very overweight. And damn, the burger in itself, triple bypass burger. Are you serious? So it's like, and that wasn't the first time. I've actually heard of someone dying from that like a year or two ago. Same type of scenario. They went to get a burger that was extra big like that, and they had like a heart attack or they died from it. And it's just like, really? You went and you ate all that meat, all that cheese, all that grease, and you expect it to be fine. Another thing that always gets me is that society wants to blame the fast food industry for kids being obese. Now, this one really trips me out because there is really no way that you can truthfully and honestly blame the fast food industry for this. But hold on one second. I need to take a quick commercial break. I'll be right back. All right, I am back. Now, the point I was making is that people like to blame the fast food industry for children being obese. Yes, and we will talk about the fast food industry having responsibility, but honestly, you cannot blame them for children being obese because Children under like 15 years old, 14 years old, they do not have jobs. So needless to say, they do not have money. They do not have cars. So if they don't have cars or real transportation and they don't have money, the only way they're getting fast food is if you, their caretaker, buys it for them. When was the last time you've seen a 5-year-old jumping on the bus or the train or driving a car to McDonald's, Wendy's, Burger King? Never. So it is the parent who is to blame in this situation. Out in California, or I'm not going to even say in California, I want to say, I guess maybe specifically San Francisco, because I don't know if it's the whole state or just San Francisco. They banned kids' toys and Happy Meals. For what? Or even kids' meals in general. I'm not going to just say Happy Meals. For what? The kid cannot get the toy nor the meal if their parent or caretaker does not take them to get it. So, toy or not, if I'm in my car and I'm like, it is 6:30, I'm not cooking when I get home, we're going to get this food, the kid is still going to get the meal. The toy is just an added bonus, just to say, hey, thanks for purchasing me. Here, kid, have fun. You took the toy out the food, but that doesn't stop people from getting the food. If I'm not going to cook dinner for my kid, I'm not going to cook dinner for my kid, toy or no toy. And again, when was the last time you seen a 5-year-old in a drive-thru? You haven't. So to say fast food made my kid fat is not the appropriate statement. Not the appropriate statement at all. The next thing that kills me with society, they always want to single out. They single out McDonald's because McDonald's is, I guess, the most popular restaurant. But if you look at the same ingredients in McDonald's food, you will find it in Wendy's, Burger King, Hardee's, Jack in the Box. Wherever you eat that's fast food contains the same, food has the same ingredients regardless. You can't just single out McDonald's. If you are on a rampage or if you are on a campaign against fast food, you have to be on a campaign against all fast food, not just McDonald's. Now, don't get me wrong. Fast food industry does have responsibility. Because they can use better quality food. They could use food that does not contain glue adhesive. They could use food that does not contain anti-foaming agents. They could use food that does not contain formaldehyde. So in that regard, to that, yes. Because even if you only eat fast food on occasion, that stuff is still harmful to your body. But it's all about supply and demand. In order to keep up with the supply or the demand that people are making on these fast food industries, they have to come up with something quick, fast, in a hurry that will keep food from spoiling, because that's a loss of money in their company. And they need to find ways to produce this food at a faster rate. So if that means cutting corners, then that's what they do. So the responsibility in regards to that is very important. They need to serve higher quality food. And I also feel that there is some type of conspiracy, because if you go to any poor neighborhood or any poor section of town, you will find multiple fast food restaurants on every corner. You go to the suburban areas, or even an area that's not as poor, you find very minimal fast food restaurants. So I feel that even though as a family, as an adult, you have a choice as if you're going to be a patron of these places, but if there's ever a time where you don't want to cook or you want to eat out, you really don't have a lot of options. And fast food restaurants are on every corner, and they are generally inexpensive. So I feel there's a conspiracy in that way, because you are pushing this stuff on poor people, whereas you're not really doing the same thing with wealthier people. People. So I don't really know what that regard is. I mean, that could be a money marketing strategy. Because the poor people will frequent here. They will, they kind of have no choice. They'll spend all their money here at McDonald's, Wendy's, whatever, with these value menus and stuff like that. That's a consistent money maker income for them. So I do feel in that aspect, for society and for community involvement, they need to do better with that. Either equally distribute out your restaurants and stop just trying to kill everybody in the poor communities. And they also need to have better quality food that's not extra high in preservatives and hormones and steroids and things of that nature. So the fast food industry, yes, carries a very healthy responsibility. They have a very hefty responsibility. That's probably a better word than healthy. They have a very large responsibility as far as the quality of food and how they strategically place their restaurants. Stop saturating areas where people can't really afford a lot and you're their only alternative. But at the same time, society needs to take responsibility. It's not McDonald's fault. It's not Wendy's fault, because you don't have to go. And if you do go, you don't have to get the biggest hamburger there. You don't even have to get a hamburger at all. You can get a salad or something of that nature. So really, I guess my whole thing is everyone plays a part when it comes to obesity. Yes, fast food industry. Yes, at a time, maybe video game industry had a part. But remember, you had a part too. Did you send your kid outside to play? When was the last time you took your kid to McDonald's or any other fast food restaurant to eat? So think about that. The next time you rant and rave about, I can't believe McDonald's is making my kids fat. Think about your frequency and how many dollars you have contributed to McDonald's to help support that cause. As always, we can follow up this conversation on Facebook at ask_princess. It'll come up as a radio show page. And we can also continue this on Twitter at ask_princess. I look forward to seeing you there. Thanks.